Hey you guys, it's been a little while. It is September 30th and I'm going to take you on a garden tour to do a little bit of update of what's growing out here. So it's a good time of year. There is a lot of citrus that is not ripe yet, but is visible, is on the vine. Actually, there's a lot of passion fruit still. I've been trying to keep up some documentation, but those have been hitting the ground for a long time really well. The bees are really busy, so fall flow happens in October, and it happens mainly with this plant right here, the goldenrod. And so here we see some of the first blooms for me on the goldenrod. The bees were working the morning glory just a minute ago, but it's a really busy time for the bees, just a lot of activity. And if we had some sunny days, it would be even better. So I've been kind of busy with life. You call it work, but really it's just life. And so I have not cleared this space very much, so it's a little overgrown. Here I see a bee working on some hot pepper. That's gonna add some heat to the honey. That's kind of cool. That's a Trinidad scorpion. So yeah, lots of bees around. There's a carpenter bee. But here's the path. There's just tons of goldenrod about to go off. Everything up here is goldenrod, and so there's just a lot of blooms right now. So it's good that we get some sunny days, because the rain has been a blessing, but it also means that it washes a lot of the pollen out and the nectar out. And so, ooh, excuse me, it's kind of a jungle. And so there's all that, but there's still, so the cool thing about this, there's still value, there's still life. Still got some garlic chives to nibble on. Lots of Turk's cap flowers to eat. But I should be talking or instead of eating. So what we've got here, oh, this is first of the year for kumquats. So we had a hard freeze, but these are finally almost ripe enough to give it a taste. So definitely good. That's changshu. You probably already know that because you know the garden so well. But we're getting to see some wildness happening. Some what happens when you leave a garden alone, but you trust it. It's got some good bones. This blueberries put on a lot of growth. I probably stop at it every time. The grafts are taking off. I've got some management work to do as far as trying to keep 3 different grafts close together like that on one pecan tree. There were some pomegranates. Yeah, I got to eat a few. Those are just, you know, on the ground, rotten ones. We just had too much moisture. So for pomegranate, for the jujube that we're about to be over at, it was just too much rain, and so most of the crop was lost. I'm excited for the citrus to come. This is a pumpkin mandarin with only a few fruit, but it's putting on a lot of new growth, a lot of potential. There's a really tall papaya straight back there. It's got some fruit on it. I don't know if you can see that. And big old giant milkweed. There was some persimmon have already gone. That izu is already come and gone. I got to eat 1 or 2. Here's a nice little papaya that's doing well. Do you see all that nice fruit hiding out? Some turmeric that the rabbits are finally deciding to leave and not eat, which is kind of nice. Figs. The figs have been producing a good Breba crop. That was LSU purple we just saw, but over here, this is a, I don't know the name, fig, but you see right in there, there's a lot. That's a real late crop of more fig. And so that's kind of interesting. So yeah, the jujubes last year was incredibly abundant, and this year it's just been too much wet, too much rain. I actually ate, because I was out here already with a friend, we ate the few ripe ones that we saw, and so I don't see any jujube to share with you guys. Oh, there they are. There's some underripe ones. Let's see. So there's a few, but yeah, it just got so wet they all just hit the ground, and there was tons of fruit set, but yummy jujube, and still lots of passion fruit everywhere. And a really late, those are pear blossoms. Not that it would ever finish that fruit. So the pear tree, look at this defoliation. I don't know, it's kind of glary, but I actually don't know what's causing that. Bees are good. I don't know what else to see. That's a really special sugar cane, this one. It's the dark purple, like almost ornamental stem. It's so dark. Let's go this way. There's some aloysia. The bees just have so many options right now. And the giant ragweed is all falling over. Like, see these cracked stems and everything? Like all that up there. I'll be clearing it out soon. What made me think of it was this one up here is just recently cracked. They just get so heavy. They're loaded with pollen, and that little bit of weight of a little bit of rain, it'll knock them right out. Look at this new flush of growth. I'm pretty excited for that avocado. Let's see where else we're going. So the bees back here are doing well. I did lose some of these pawpaw, so that was kind of unfortunate. I think this one in the front is gone, but that these two defoliated, and then I knew they were still alive, and look at that, coming right back. So that's kind of exciting, because after they get, you know, through a summer, that's a pretty big deal. That's pretty huge. Check this out. Oh, you guys know what these are? You guys know what that is? It's an oyster mushroom. Look at all of them. It's kind of interesting how they're out singles out in the open like that. So this is what happens when you leave a piece of comb out at the entrance. I think I left it for them to clean up or something. It's kind of funny. See all that pollen coming in? All right, massive amount of pollen means they're expanding the brood nest. Look at that, every other bee is full of pollen. Right here, I really am excited. When I get some help, I'm going to put these on a good stand. So I'll just have all 3 colonies. There's one behind, just lined up facing this way, and get them off of those buckets. Something a little more permanent. So here, this is all galangal ginger. It's doing well on its own. The rabbits again. The rabbits and ginger, man. They're a fan of the ginger. And I just passed a bunch of passion fruit. Here's some more. I'm kind of excited that the passion fruit will give a little protection from that first freeze for that avocado, because my goal is to not do near as much protecting this year. I had pretty good feedback about, you know, that it doesn't do much. All that effort was not necessarily worth it. The water buckets are worth it, but all the other stuff might not be. So this moringa that you see here has fallen over again, so that was kind of cool to see how the trunk is just, once it's compromised, it gets twisted, it falls over, and it's probably taking out that goji berry. So you see all this fruit. Let me step back here. Actually, here's a lot of distractions. Some ripe, those are ready to eat. So here's, you know, goji berry, that stem right there. It's got some more fruit on it, but it's getting really shaded out. And I do eat the moringa. I'm making a good habit of nibbling on it. Here we got some pineapple guava, and earlier when my friend was here, I tasted the first one off the ground. So it's really close to being the season, and this is my first year for pineapple guava. I mean, I got like 1 or 2 last year, not enough to call it a actual harvest, and so that's kind of exciting. So this is the falsa. Look at this awesome flush of growth. I mean, that's 10-12 feet, and it's putting on a second flower fruiting as well. So here's some falsa berries that might finish. So far I got to eat one of the falsa berries back in the spring for the first fruiting, and I was not impressed. So I think it was not fully ripe, but there's a lot of new berries that are on the way. So see all that. That'll be, hopefully they finish before it gets too cold. Here we got a lemon drop pepper that shows you what peppers do when they get a little bit of shade. They love the shade. But this is going to be a really nice fall crop because of how big it is. And the giant passion vine, Passiflora quadrangularis, total waste of time. I never saw a single flower. So it was just more feedback that this should be covered in grapes, something perennial. The loofah finally, you know, put on some fruit. There's a loofah. Here's another one that's probably ready to eat today. But it wasn't really worth it to give it this space. So I want to get some grapes in here before I get shaded out, because that's the big thing that comes in a food forest is shade. So this is great timing for this bloom, because the bees are putting honey away. You know, it's a nectar flow. Actually, there's a bee already right there. So this kumquat is going to make a lot of honey in the next couple weeks as those flowers open up, and that's pretty awesome. What else to share? There's always something to share. Lots of dayflower to eat. Lots of busy bees. Here's more pineapple guava. It's not that big, but this one's mammoth, I think. It's supposed to be real big. But there's some fruit hiding out. And there's nobody at the entrance because everybody is out working. Today is the day. The flowers might open up. We might get some sun. The ageratum, conoclinum, this is another really important one. So this is the cool, I mean, this is what happens. It's a flow because all of these flowers, the goldenrod, the ageratum, the citrus, they're just all coming at the same time, and I've got empty space, empty frames, so I'm gonna be filling up. This is pigeon pea. You probably remember I did a video not too long ago about how I was impressed with how these plants were able to share space. So like right here we've got the trunk of the papaya, we got the pigeon pea right down there, and then the cassava right here, and another papaya. They were pretty close together and they were kind of doing their thing, but this is what a big pigeon pea looks like, what it does. And I saw the first flower. Well, here's a seed pod of it. So that should probably finish before it gets too cold. Here's some more citrus that I'll get to do an update video on all the different citrus, you know, cultivars and tastes. That's Mars. So yeah, I finally left some fruit on them. There's Ujikitsu that has some ooh, it has some drop. So I don't know what that's indicative of, but I might try and eat this one. It's got some yellow. And oh hey, this is who knows this plant? 5, 4, 3. What is this plant? In the comments below, if you know this plant, I don't know, I'll give you a prize. But it tastes very sweet. And I'm glad that it was able to make it in that mulch, you know, that deep mulch. That does wonders. So here is kind of cool. It's starting to feel like a food forest, not like it was when it was full, hot, and sunny. I've planted some fall tomatoes here, but they were kind of spindly, not much growth. And the rabbits, I don't know, the rabbits took out a few of them. This might make a few tomatoes. This is a little bit early, so loquats they go at their own time. They're like, I'm gonna bloom when I want, but that's more nectar for the bees right now. All those flowers, there's more pollen, there's more busy time of year, and that's about to open up too. So there's other sugarcane cultivar that's doing well, and there's a little bit of yam that's running up over all that ragweed that I'll go find the tuber of. And then the gherkin, I definitely am going to put something else on on that trellis next year, because I don't use much gherkin. So that's what's happening in this half of the garden. There's a lot to see. So the fuyu all got eaten this year. Last year I got to eat this fruit all the way into like Thanksgiving. This tree was loaded, and so that's some feedback of some sort. Basically the birds decided that that they liked it this year, or maybe it was a possum. So I got a bunch of citrus this year, so it's all good. So let me show you the baby chicks and how big they are. That'll be fun. So it's still kind of messy. We're gonna go in this way because the baby chicks get to hang out outside now. And I just did this today. So in my last video, excuse me, in my last video, I had the chicks in this teeny little space. It basically went from this corner over to there, and this was their run. And they're grown up so fast. Hey ladies, you wanna be on camera? She said no. Annie, do you wanna be on camera? All right, but anyway, they are so big, so fast, and so they needed more space. So the other change, besides now that they get all the way out to that wall, is that over here in their coop, they don't have a floor because that was just not working out well. So if you remember, it was going to be like a coop up top, and then might need two hands. There we go. And then another space underneath, but they really weren't using it efficiently. So now they can climb around up here. Like some of the flightier ones jump up, but mainly it's just the bottom space, and we open up the top when we need to access them without having them get out. So like changing water and stuff like that, food and everything. So that's where they sleep at night still. About half of them, they're just transitioning. So about half of them are up off the ground, and then the other half are still on the ground. Hey Daisy, you're a pretty one. Coming over to say hi? You want to come peck on the camera? It tastes pretty good. Anyway, they get a lot of sweet potato greens. They've been nibbling on that. And they get a lot of time out and about. So that's nice. That's about it, other than I'm going to spread out all this compost, mix in some seed, and take that mound down. But that's the baby chicks, and now we're gonna have to go find the other birds out and about. McCania and the crew. Here's a pretty impressive tomato. This fall tomato in compost. Might have documented when I planted it, but it's happy. It's gonna need more trellising soon. And then these guys, I'm not sure I posted that video, but they were really spindly. They were basically, you know, nutrient deficient. And so I hit them with a little bit of Miracle-Gro, and it got them through, and it got that compost activated. So it was a good lesson in, like, the compost has to be at a certain stage, because when it's not, the whole system, you know, can fail. So, you know, locked up the nitrogen and all that. But now they're gonna make some tomatoes. And here's everybody else. Except McCania. Man, warming up, huh? Hey, you guys. Hey, Lacey. Looks like that'll be hot. So, it's a Raven, Phantom, Lacey, and then Glossy standing up in the back. Alright, so over here, not much has changed. I cut down a mulberry tree to get some light. I've got loofah going wild all the way up in the top, up where the glare is, making loofah. And this is just from my loofah dumping the bucket of, you know, random trash. But they're definitely a really busy plant in the fall. So it's going to be a good year for just hopefully a mild winter and letting things go, letting things do their thing. So back here, basically the mulberry, all of these branches I cut down was right behind those blocks, and it was for that citrus to get some light. But other than a few small fruit there on the Kishu seedless, this area just needs some time. You can see what the chickens are doing with the rabbits, keeping the ground nice and clear. There's like one satsuma on that tree. It's in the shade. A lot of beautyberry. More tomato, and this one is one from the spring, so this is not a fall planting. A lot of kumquat. That'll be interesting. Here we go. Check out this awesomeness. We got some star fruit, some beefy star fruit, and a lot of new fruit set. So I'm not sure that they're gonna finish. I think that there's a chance they could all get frozen before they're really sweet. But I think it's cool that the tree, you know, put that much growth on top and is stronger every year. So I'm gonna try and protect it as much as I can and give it even more light next year. So that'll be a cool crop. Kumquat not doing much. The figs have done plenty, but the Breba crop's gone. We've got papaya seedlings popping out where this purple yam, and I can't really tell. Oh, it's pretty big. We're looking at bigger than a softball, at least. I don't know, but that'll get harvested soon. And softball is puny for what that could do. The curry is real strong and stable. I left fruit on this honey mandarin, and it bent this branch all the way down to the ground with just a few fruit. So it's got to learn to toughen up. Got some vines in it. But this area is got some big changes coming real soon. That's gonna be interesting. So you guys see this log right there? There's a bunny right beside me. So that log was inoculated with oyster mushroom mycelium, the big stumps. And that's what is spreading out, you know, like same as we saw over there, same as this right here. Perfect to harvest and eat right now. And pretty gentle, pretty good. Sometimes there's a little bite if you get them a little late. But yeah, I think that's cool that it's growing basically in straight leaves on the ground level. There's citrus. The rabbits have been chewing on it. I don't know if you see this. You know, they're cutting off those leaves. They do their thing. Here's some more oyster. And more back there. This is my one cocktail grapefruit right there that I did not manage to thin. I intended to thin this tree. So this is a pretty decent setup. I'm definitely citrus heavy and everything, but I just feel like that trunk being this close to the full water tank is gonna be pretty rock solid, sustainable. And this is what I'm talking about. Look what the rabbits did. Decimated. This is a real strong stand of galangal ginger. And I gotta do something, you know? And that's not chickens. Stinking rabbits. And that's really pretty. Look at the turkey tail. This is a stump that was cut off and killed. That is actually probably a prime edibility as well. Maybe flavor some food. Here's more rabbit damage. Right there, chewing on the trunk of that loquat. I gotta get that wrapped right away. They'll just keep going on it. Yeah, so good. It's important to make the observations and walk around and stay connected, because little adjustments go a long way. I'm gonna get that loquat trunk wrapped right away. Well, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the tour. The aloysia just finished blooming, so we'll have to wait to make some nectar. But yeah, that's the garden. It's September 30th. It's a beautiful sunny day now, so the bees are gonna get a lot of nectar and beautiful sky. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.